choose your own adventure sounds like a lot of fun, but they really have to start here in order to really understand the process. I won't lie, I've had that thought in the past before. I'm no different than many of you. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through some of the thought process behind whether or not you should really allow your learners to explore. So the short answer is yes, you can let your learners explore. And I know that there is hesitancy amongst many of you, right? Because you feel like they have to know this information in order to get to that next level or to really understand the next phase. And what we don't take into account is that adult learners are adults. They are not children. The only thing we really know and understand about instructional design or learning and development or training and development, and I don't want to say it's what we understand because it's not the model that we follow in adult learning, but the only thing we have to compare it to is K through 12 education, where it's really prescribed and you really have to start step by step by step and be told what it is that we're learning next. And so we assume, because we haven't really dove into the psychology of adult learning, that is what we do as adult learners, right? Like children and adults, we're still all humans, right? We learn the same, but we don't. Adults really need to be the owners of their content and the owner of their learning. The number one way that we can motivate our learners to really invest in the learning is to tell them what's in it for them. And when you start off with that, they're going to want to continue to learn, right? They're going to want to continue down the path. They may start at the beginning, go to the end, but they may also recognize that they have a lot of knowledge coming into this new job or coming into this new process. They don't really need the 101s and the 201s. They've done all of that already. They can test out of that. They can start the 301, and they are smart enough to know if they are lost or do not understand something in the 301, they probably need to go back to the 201 and the 101 in order to gain some of that foundational knowledge. Not saying children aren't smart, but we really need to treat ourselves like the adults that we are, right? We know what we need to be doing. We know where we have to be. I don't need a babysitter. And that is the same thing we want from our learning for our learners. When you start to change that mindset from your content that you are starting to provide, you will find more opportunity for your employees to truly want to be invested in the learning, that truly want to be part of taking additional content, learning more, craving more, and you can start to change the brand that your L&D or training has developed over the years. And I want you to think of it this way. We navigate so many systems every single day without any sort of context, without reading the manual. How many of you get the box from IKEA, put the instructions to the side, and just start to build? Sometimes that works out, but sometimes you need to go back to the navigation, right? You need to go back to the book to walk through step by step. That is the same sort of mindset that you need with a lot of your content. What we do is we insult our learners and we just assume that they need to know and understand how to navigate this module in order to complete it. They don't need to know where the menu is. They can see that it says menu. They don't need to know what the next button is. They can see the arrow. They don't need to know that an X probably closes out the course because it's pretty synonymous with most close buttons is the X. But for some reason, we still treat our learners like they need to walk through this. And I see this a lot in software training, right? We need to show them how to navigate. We need to show them the foundation. And I do believe there is need for it, right? If it's a brand new system. But do I really have to walk through at such a granular level of when I type something in the search bar, suggestions appear? I think we can say, search bar is here. You use that to search for content that you're looking for. Now, if there's additional buttons as part of the search where you can do an advanced search, that's good information. That's not as, common knowledge. But it's amazing to me how many of us think that we need to walk step by step and show them everything about it because they can't figure out that that bell means that there's a notification. How insulting is that? So since we do navigate so many systems day in and day out in any other circumstances on our own and exploring on our own and then grabbing the help when we need it, why wouldn't we do the same with our learning, right? And our navigation modules. You want to think, don't you want to encourage that sort of behavior? That behavior where they become self-sufficient to explore and try new things and feel safe to try and play around and learn new things. When you allow for exploration in your content, you are encouraging them. You're encouraging your learners to think for themselves and make the wrong choice and learn from their mistakes. I can guarantee a lot of us learn faster through making the wrong choice than being told what the right choice is. So when we're creating our trainings and when you're creating our learning experiences, right? Let's take that same mindset and create opportunities where learners can learn from the wrong choice. And sometimes that wrong choice is something that they are doing already, right? Day in and day out, and no one's telling them that that choice is wrong. They're just continuing that same pattern of behavior and still leading to not great results. So what are some ways that we can encourage exploration? First things first is the good old choose your own adventure. Really treat learners like adults. Let them pick where they want to start. Here's a little spoiler. Most likely they're going to start left or right or from the beginning. Not a ton of us are going to start at the end and then jump to the beginning. There might be some of us. You can let go some of that fear, but by providing that option to really pick how you want to learn, you're immediately starting with the choice. So you're immediately invested more in the learning. The next thing that you can do is encourage the use of scenarios and branching scenarios. So you can take this in two different levels. You can take it a very basic route to just kind of start dipping your toe in scenario-based learning by giving a scenario and giving a few options and letting the learner make the choice and then providing feedback based on that choice. If you want to take it to the next level, you can really create the opportunity to create branches based on the option that they select. So when you're creating a branching scenario, what you're going to do is you're going to provide a scenario and you're going to provide two choices or as many choices as you want. I'm just going to use two. And based on that choice, you get to the next slide that gives you what the reaction is based on that choice. And then you have another choice to make. And you can go through that, right? Based on what, if they pick this, it's going to take them here. And you can really build out a scenario and really show them if you're going to make those types of decisions, here is where you are going to end up. That's really effective in things like sales training. If you're going to make these not so great choices, you are going to end up probably not making the sale. But if you tweak some of your choices, you have a better chance of making the sale, or you can close that sale. So you see that branching that scenario, it allows the learner to make their own choice and not immediately be told that the choice they made was right or wrong. And also, if you can have that perfect, okay, not great sort of options at the end, it helps them understand where making some tweaks can get them to that great, or making some tweaks or some easy choices to make the not so great choice could land them in a place where they're not going to be as successful. Another way to encourage exploration is to let learners test out of certain areas or certain courses, right? So let's say you're rolling out a new software system. It might not be completely brand new to everybody. They may have come in knowing how to utilize this software. They've used it before in a previous role. So do they really need to spend the time on the navigation module? Probably not. So why don't you include a pretest where that pretest, if it's completed, will mark that module as complete in the learning plan. I see this often in the pharmaceutical space. There is a software, a CRM system that just about everyone, it feels like, uses. So many reps are coming in and they're moving to new companies and they take the CRM training and they're like, been there, done that. I'm sitting here bored. They're checked out of the training. And then what happens is that it gives that bad taste for the rest of the training, where they're actually learning business roles, where it might be a little bit more scenario based, where it probably is more of what they actually need, but because they were checked out, because they were treated like children in the beginning, they're not as invested, they're not learning as much. By utilizing a few of these tools and allowing your learners to explore, you really can begin to change the brand and the face for your learning and development. And really treating learners like adults, which honestly can feel rare sometimes. So if you want to learn more about how to create more options in your learning for your learners and to help really let adult learners be adult learners again, make sure you contact Anchor Training. The information will be down below. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.